weapons or anything on you, sir?
Weapon? No, no weapon. Only my words, only my philosophy, only what I believe in.
Police towards the vehicle. I'm going to place you under arrest right now.
You don't do that at the expense of your base, because you're going to find that there is a contingent of the population that will always hate you. They'll always be against you. And you can't just expect to win everyone. And this is one of the greatest misconceptions about politics, about elections, that you win them by getting more people to vote for you. In a technical sense, you do. But on the ground, it's about getting the people who like you motivated enough to vote for you, and getting just that small subset. You don't want to get everyone to vote for you, but that small subset you need to have more than the other side to vote for you. And the problem with that is that you can't do it if you are content to surrender your base.
The New York Times and Wall Street Journal both reported in recent months that Melinda was concerned about a relationship you had with Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time you met him in 2011 had been already convicted of soliciting prostitution from a minor. The Times reported she hired divorce attorneys around the time in October 2019 when that contact with Epstein became public. Can you explain your relationship with Epstein? Did you have any concerns? Was there ever any concerns you had about it?
Oh, certainly. You know, I had several dinners with him, you know, hoping that what he said about getting billions of philanthropy for global health through contacts that he had might emerge. You know, when it looked like that wasn't a real thing, that relationship ended. But it was a huge mistake to spend time with him, to give him the credibility of, you know, being there. There were lots of others in that same situation, but I made a mistake.
Back from Budapest, huge waves of human migration really are the biggest story of the age we're living in, and they will certainly define the future. They've accelerated for a couple of reasons. One, it's very easy to travel from one end of the globe to another, easier than it's ever been in human history, and cheaper. But for another, a lot of the world is getting less stable, and in part that's the fault of the West. Ideologues in this country, some of whom now work at the Biden State Department, decided to overthrow the government of Iraq. That caused a domino effect of instability throughout the region and massive waves of human migration. Hillary Clinton decided that for some reason we had to kill the leader of Libya. That started a civil war in that country, and again, more migration. And then for the last 15 years, again, ideologues in Washington have pushed more war in Syria. So all of that had effects. One of those effects back in 2015 was the movement of more than 1 million people from the Middle East and North Africa, and in some cases sub-Saharan Africa, into Europe. Now, Europe is controlled by the EU, which is effectively controlled by Germany. No one says it out loud, but really it's the German Empire. And at the time it was run by the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, and she decided to keep the doors open. She said that accepting more than 1 million migrants in her country was not a big deal at all. Quote, Germany is a strong country. We will manage. Well, of course, she was completely wrong. That decision changed the nature of Germany forever, caused a massive crime spike. Yes, that's true and proven. And in general, disrupted the entire region. It's not clear who exactly benefited from that. Even the migrants themselves. Certainly the countries they came from were weaker as a result.
100%. It's insane. I mean, think about it. They're knowingly releasing COVID-positive patients into the United States. You can't even go to a restaurant in New York City, according to the rules that Mayor Bill de Blasio wants to impose, without a vaccine passport. You can't go eat. You can't go to the gym. You can't go public places, and you can't work at them either. Under the new rules there, as a citizen of the United States, you don't have that choice. If you're an illegal immigrant infected with a perhaps deadly new strain of COVID, the Delta variant, you are free to roam, Sean. You can go wherever you want and do whatever you want with no consequence. It's literally insane. Not only are they imposing a caste system, a two-tiered system within our own country of American citizens, those who are vaccinated and those who aren't, and they get to abide by different rules and they get to go to different places, they're imposing segregation. And if it was the right doing it and the left commentating, they'd say, man, this strikes me similar to the Jim Crow laws, because in New York City, for example, the largest demographic of unvaccinated people happens to be African Americans. And now you're telling them they can't travel freely, they can't go to restaurants, they can't live their lives because they don't choose to let the government impose restrictions on them.
I got to tip my hat to you. I got to tip my hat to you. You're a lot smarter than I am because you got the hell out of New York.